Unapologetic self-belief isn't about walking around with your chest puffed out or faking confidence with loud words and empty gestures. It's about something deeper, something forged in the silence when no one is watching, when it's just you and the grind. It's waking up every single day knowing you're not owed anything, and yet acting like everything is already yours. Because you've bled for it. You don't ask for permission. You don't wait for someone to hand you validation. You are the validation. This isn't arrogance. It's ownership. People confuse the two because most of them have never seen what real confidence looks like. Real confidence doesn't beg for the spotlight. It commands respect without saying a damn word. It's in your eyes, your posture, your walk. You enter a room and people feel it before you even speak. That's not something you're born with. It's something you build. You build it every time you keep going when you could have quit. Every time you stand tall when life punches you in the face and dares you to fold. That's where real belief is born, in pain, in solitude, in the places most people run from. You don't apologize for being strong. You don't tone yourself down to make weak people comfortable. If your presence makes someone insecure, that's their problem, not yours. The world will always try to put you in a box, tell you to slow down, to be quiet, to fit in. But you didn't come here to fit in. You came here to own your space. That space you earned through every rep, every late night, every moment you chose discipline over distraction. And when someone tries to challenge that, when someone steps to you thinking they can shake you, all they're going to find is steel. Because you don't flinch, you don't fold. You've been through too much. You've suffered too long to be rattled by a few words or sideways looks. Your confidence isn't a costume you wear. It's your skin. It's built into your spine. And they feel it. That's why they back off. Not because you barked louder, but because you didn't need to. People don't respect noise. They respect results. They respect presence. And presence comes from walking through hell and coming out harder than what tried to burn you. Most people are waiting for a green light, for someone to tell them they're good enough. You decided you were, not because it was easy, but because you made a choice to bet on yourself every time, no matter what. And you keep making that choice not once, not occasionally, every single damn day. You stopped asking, am I ready? You just showed up. You stopped wondering if you had what it takes. You proved it again and again, in the dark, in silence, with no applause. And now, when you walk into a room, people feel that weight, that presence, that certainty that says, I don't need your permission to be here. Controlled rage and stillness. Two forces most people can't even hold in the same sentence, let alone master in the same soul. The average person is either all fire or all ice. They lose control when things don't go their way, or they freeze up under pressure, paralyzed by indecision. But when you learn how to hold both, when you become a weapon with discipline, you become dangerous in a way that words can't explain. That's when enemies start to second guess. That's when the room gets quiet when you enter. Not because you're loud, but because you're ready for war, and they can feel it. Controlled rage is the fuel that keeps you sharp. It's the fire that burns behind your calm eyes. It's not about screaming or breaking things or throwing punches. It's about knowing what you could do and choosing not to. That's power. That's control. Weak men lash out. Strong men wait. They calculate. They watch. They read the field before making a move. You've got a storm inside, but it's locked down behind steel doors, and you've got the key. That's why you don't react emotionally. You respond with intent, with precision. That's why no one sees you coming until it's too late. Stillness is your edge in a chaotic world. While everyone else is scrambling, chasing, losing their cool, you're steady. You're unshaken. You move like time bends around you, like you've already run this battle in your head 1,000 times. Because you have. The calmest one in the room always wins. Stillness isn't weakness, it's clarity. It's the ability to hear your instincts when everyone else is being drowned out by fear and noise. You don't need to talk over people. You don't need to prove anything. You've already proven it to yourself when no one else was watching. That's what gives you the advantage. That's why your silence speaks louder than their shouting. There's a line that separates the hunted from the hunter. Most people don't even know where it is, but you do. You live on that line. You've trained yourself to feel everything and still make moves like a machine. Emotion doesn't cloud your judgment. It fuels your discipline. You're not cold. You're controlled. That's why when someone tries to provoke you, they're met with a wall. a still, unshakable wall of power they weren't ready for. That's why they back off, because they realize too late you're not emotional, you're surgical. You're not reactionary, you're deliberate. Your calm scares people, your restraint makes them nervous, because they know deep down it takes far more strength to hold back than it does to explode. It takes more courage to pause, assess, and strike with intent than to act out of anger. And when you finally move, it's not out of rage, it's out of decision. Cold, calculated, unstoppable decision. That's what makes you untouchable. That's what keeps people from stepping too close. Before you can dominate anyone else, you have to dominate your own mind. That's the first battlefield, and it's the most brutal one you'll ever face. No enemy out there is more dangerous than the voice inside your head telling you you're not enough, telling you to back down, to play it safe, to stay comfortable. That voice is a liar, and it's relentless. You either kill it, or it owns you. Most people let it own them. They believe every whisper of fear, every echo of doubt, and they never push past the walls in their own minds. But when you learn to face that voice, to challenge it, to break it, you become something else entirely. You learn to stop negotiating with your weakness. You stop looking for the easy way out. You don't care how you feel. You care about what needs to be done. That's what separates the driven from the defeated. The driven get up when their body says no. They push forward when their mind screams to quit. That's mental dominance, not motivation, discipline, not hype, execution. And the more you train your mind to override comfort, the more powerful you become. The fear doesn't go away, but it loses control. The doubt doesn't disappear, but it gets drowned out by action. You don't need to be the strongest. You don't need to be the smartest. You just need to be the one who refuses to be broken. That's a mindset. That's a decision you make every day when you wake up. You don't wait for confidence to magically show up. You build it brick by brick, through pain, through sacrifice, through a relentless refusal to stay down. That kind of mental strength radiates. People can sense it before you even speak. They can see it in your eyes. That's why enemies hesitate, because they know you're not just strong, you're unshakable. The world is full of people pretending to be tough, trying to look confident, but inside, they're soft. They fold when pressure hits. They talk big until it's time to actually do something hard. You've seen that. You've lived through it. That's why you don't chase approval. You don't care about being liked. You care about being ready. And the only way to be ready for anything is to master your own mind, to take control of the thoughts that try to control you. You've trained yourself to move toward fear instead of away from it. You've conditioned your brain to see challenge and lean in, not flinch. That's how you separate from the pack. That's how you create distance between yourself and everyone still waiting for the right conditions to act. Because while they hesitate, you've already made your move. While they think, you're already doing. You don't let the noise inside slow you down. You use it. You turn the chaos into clarity, the fear into fuel. You've gone to war with yourself so many times that now no one else even stands a chance. Outwork every threat. That's the mindset. That's the standard. Not because it's flashy, not because it looks good on a shirt, but because it's the only damn way to make sure nobody has the power to take what's yours. You don't need to scream it. You don't need to post it. You show it. In the dirt. In the blood, in the early mornings when everyone else is sleeping. When you live like that, people notice. And not in a loud, clapping, cheering kind of way. They notice in silence. They notice when they realize you never stop. That's when they back off. Not because you're the biggest. Not because you're the loudest. But because you're the last one standing when the smoke clears. Most people tap out when things get inconvenient. They want comfort and results in the same breath. They want respect without paying the price. But you put in the work they don't see, so you get the results they don't understand. You train when no one's watching. You grind when motivation disappears. You stay in the fire long after everyone else has run. That kind of work ethic becomes armor. It becomes something no one can compete with. People can fake confidence. They can fake strength, but they can't fake work. They can't fake the suffering. And when you embrace that suffering, when you own it, you become untouchable. You don't fear the competition. You become their fear. You become the reminder that while they were skipping steps, you were stacking days. They were choosing comfort. You were choosing pain, not because you're addicted to it, but because you know what it's building. Every drop of sweat, every rep, every late night, it all counts. You know your edge is earned. It's not luck, it's not talent, it's obsession. You're not clocking in and out. This is who you are. This is how you live. That's why people don't challenge you. That's why the threats never follow through. They feel it. They see the way you carry yourself. Like you've been to hell and decided to stay there until you built something out of it. You don't panic under pressure, because you've already lived in pressure. You've trained in the dark, so the spotlight doesn't rattle you. The game doesn't change you. It exposes everyone who hasn't done the work. That's where you thrive, because you've put in so many hours, so much pain, that there's no bluff left. There's no lie to hide behind. It's just raw, earned ability, earned strength, and people can smell that. They can tell when someone is different, when someone doesn't break. They don't want to go head to head with that. They'll talk, but they won't act, because they know what it means to go against someone who's sacrificed more, bled more, wanted it more. Every hour you outwork them is another reason for them to step aside. Every day you keep pushing while they rest is another day they fall behind. You don't need to intimidate with words. You let your work ethic do the talking. You let your discipline become the warning sign. Strategic ruthlessness isn't chaos. It's not rage. It's not emotional. It's cold. It's calculated. It's knowing exactly what needs to be done and doing it without hesitation. Most people are too soft to move like that. They need approval. They need applause. They need to be liked. You don't. You operate on a different frequency. You see the board 10 moves ahead. You understand that not every battle is worth fighting, but the ones that are, you finish them, fully, without blinking, without backing off. That's what makes people nervous. It's not just your intensity, it's your precision. It's the way you move with purpose, the way you act without second guessing, the way you don't bluff because you don't have to. Most people play emotional chess. They react to everything. They chase validation. They want to be respected, but they don't want to do what's required to earn it. You don't play that game. You don't chase. You build. You build power through consistency, through silence, through action. You don't announce your strategy, you execute it. Quietly, relentlessly. You keep your cards close, your circle tight, and your mission clear. That makes you unpredictable. That makes you lethal. Because people can't figure you out. They can't read you. And what they can't read, they can't control. Your moves are deliberate. You don't show emotion in the moment. You've already processed it. You've already felt the frustration, the anger, the hunger, and you've channeled it into clarity. That's the difference. Strategic ruthlessness doesn't mean you're heartless. It means you have control. It means you know when to be patient and when to strike. And when you strike, you don't miss. You don't aim to hurt. You aim to end. That scares people, because they know you're not bluffing. They know you'll do what they won't. They know you're not out here trying to impress anyone. You're here to win. There's a sharpness to your presence that puts people on edge. They don't know what you're thinking, but they can feel the weight behind your silence. You don't threaten. You don't posture. You simply operate at a level that most people don't have access to. You know when to cut ties, when to walk away, when to burn the bridge and not look back. Not out of emotion, but out of necessity. Because your mission is bigger than their opinions. Your vision is clearer than their doubts. You don't need to argue. You don't need to explain. You just move. And the more you move like that, the more people fall in line or fall away. The weak won't stick around. The insecure will feel threatened. That's fine. You're not here for their comfort. You're here for the objective. Ruthless doesn't mean reckless. It means intentional. It means every move has weight. Every decision has purpose. You've removed the fluff. You've cut the excuses. You've trimmed the fat off your thinking. And now every part of you is sharpened, focused, weaponized. That's why you don't need to speak loudly. That's why you don't chase conflict. You've become the one they don't want to cross. Confidence isn't about volume. It's not about being the loudest in the room or flexing for attention. It's about who you've become when nobody was watching. It's about what you've survived, what you've built, and what you're willing to do that others aren't. When you carry yourself with unapologetic self-belief, when you master your emotions and move with calm precision, when you dominate your mind before any opponent even shows up, you become something they don't know how to handle. You outwork every threat, not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. And when you move with strategic ruthlessness, when every step is calculated and every action intentional, People don't just respect you, they fear disrupting you. You don't need to act tough. You are tough because you forged that toughness in silence. You've earned that presence in pain. And now, when you walk into a room, you don't have to announce who you are. They already know, or they figure it out fast, and they back off. Because real confidence doesn't need a spotlight. Real confidence is the spotlight.